Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the upper tier, and this is the Monday mashup. Joining me tonight, as always, supporting that Man United jersey, our resident referee, Mark. Also joining us tonight, Keane, making his return to the show, giving me a bit of Liverpool support during these horrible international breaks, and making his debut on the show tonight, the Gooner himself, Craig. How are we, Craig?
Cheers, lads. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Long time
absolutely.
listener. First time we're on, so to make an
Excellent.
appearance at least once.
We at least owe you one appearance for all those views, do we?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, this is, as I said, the Monday mashup. As always, hit a like on the video if you're enjoying the content. Also, if you could subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification button. October is going to be an absolute animal for content coming up. Something like 9 games for each of the Premier League teams to play or thereabouts if you're in Europe. Absolutely crazy. But tonight we have a kind of a different Monday mashup because obviously we know Premier League to review and stuff like that. We're going to take a quick look back at the Nations League. We'll keep you updated on the scores as they go in. I have them here in front of me as well. England have just gone 1-0 behind. Gundogan with the goal. Absolute cracker, I'd say. We'll take a look back at what went on at the weekend in the Nations League. We're going to do a little bit of a mid-term review. I dropped one last night as part of the Shankly sessions where I took a look at Liverpool's mid-term review. As you can imagine, doesn't make very good reading, but there's always hope. So tonight we're going to take a look at Arsenal, Man City, Tottenham, United and Chelsea. And then we got a few interesting news topics there, including who are the 10 most followed footballers on Instagram currently, which should make for interesting debate and stuff like that. And a couple of other news articles that came out there that we'll touch on. So let's get into this. I'll give you the current state of play at the moment in the Nations League at the moment. England have just gone one behind, as I said, Gundogan with the goal. Italy are 2-0 up against Hungary. Raspadori is after scoring the first one. Morrison already.
Straight away.
Mount.
Straight away.
I see Mount didn't start for England. Crazy.
He loves
Morrison.
Mason.
Yeah. What's he going to do? What's he going to do if Arsenal sign him? Good Lord.
It's like that playground thing, you know. If you like someone, you give them stick all the time, like.
Yeah, absolutely. Finland are 2-0 up against Montenegro. Romania are 1-0 up against Bosnia. Gibraltar are 2-0 down to Georgia. Macedonia are 1-0 down to Bulgaria. Estonia 2-0 up against San Marino. And in the Irish Premier Division at the moment, Shamrock Rovers are 1-0 up. The boy Farrugia getting the goal. Rory Gaffney with the assist. Of course, if your name is Gaffney and you're playing for Shamrock Rovers, you've got big boots to fill. So don't forget that. Keep that going. Right. Let's start, first of all. Hungary with a huge win over Germany the other night. And topping the group, obviously after being overtaken by Italy tonight with the 2-0 lead at the moment. Italy have now gone top of the group. But the interesting one was Italy winning 1-0 against England. And now England find themselves 1-0 down against Germany tonight. Mark, what did you make? A lot of heat on Southgate at the moment in terms of selection, in terms of omittance, in terms of a lot of stuff at the moment.
Yeah, no, like when he named the 12 defenders, I thought that was strange enough. And then he named the likes of Calvin Phillips, who hasn't kicked the ball all season. Yeah, he leaves Sancho at home, who, you know, he's starting to pick up a bit of momentum with goals and assists. I know we can write off last season, but he's doing very well this season. As a United fan, I'm kind of glad now because he's going to be going in fresh on Sunday against City. So in terms of that, I'm happy. But yeah, just some strange decisions, to be honest with you. You know, I think we'll probably talk about it later, but I can't see England sacking him before the World Cup. I think the only thing that will keep his job safe is him winning it, because I think no matter if he doesn't win it, I think he's going to be sacked after, to be honest. So, yeah, I watched it. It was like there was a chance near the end. Kane took a shot. He should have squared it for me. Keeper pulls off an easy save at the near post, and the one or two headers that opportunity, kind of half opportunities, I say. I was seeing the first half against Germany there. I was watching before we came on. It was the same thing again. You know, you look at Kane, Sterling, and I think it was Foden just trying to create stuff, but it just wasn't happening at all for them, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Keane, what have you made of Jude Bellingham? I spoke about him last night in the review for Liverpool, and I was thinking every day he seems to be going up 5 or 10 million in his valuation. And I kind of made the point on the review last night that 130 million, I think Liverpool might be better judged by spending their money elsewhere and maybe getting two world class midfielders in at 60 each rather than drawing the 130 just at Jude Bellingham. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, 100%. I think 130 million is today's market is a lot of money. You're looking at you're paying for potential these days. You're not really paying for quality, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like I've watched a good bit of Dortmund over the last year and a half, and he has been like one of the standout performers in the squad. They haven't been playing too well, but he always seems to be, that sort of player who can make something happen from nothing. And then again, I watched England play the other day. He had kind of a half chance just towards the end of the game. He kind of burst into the box and the ball got whipped in. He headed it and just went over the bar. Like he looks like he could be the creative player that we are missing in our midfield. But if there is an option there, he can go out and, as you said, spend 60 million on two more established midfielders. I'd definitely be willing to do that over paying like 130, 140 maybe for him.
But
Yeah,
and lads, the
absolutely.
thing about it is he's still only 19. That's mad. Like it seems because he burst onto the scene so young with Birmingham and got them out to Dortmund. You think he's been around for donkey's years, but he's still only 19. Like,
Yeah, he's still only a kid, eh?
shit, it's
He has a
unbelievable.
younger brother as well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He's at
Yeah, he
Birmingham
only
as well.
signed
He's at
only
Birmingham
signed
as well. Yeah,
signed his pro contract the other day for Birmingham. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kenny is way worse. Morris back in the comments. Kenny is way worse than Southgate. Hopefully tomorrow he can bow out with a respectable 0-0 to Armenia, and he's back again as well. Dortmund are guilty of bottling easy games too in their league. 130 million, no way for me. Spot on, Morris. My biggest
100%.
fear, and I said it last night on the review show, I think if we spend 130 million on Jude Bellingham, we ain't spending any more money unless we get a couple of guys in on a free, and we know how many players we need in at the moment.
Yeah,
Craig, just your
definitely.
thoughts. Obviously, Saka in there.
Mm.
He was an outstanding player and stuff like that, but he names 12 defenders in the squad for the game against Italy, and you find Saka playing at left wing back. What was your thoughts on
Yeah,
that? That must have been crazy.
it's bizarre because he hasn't played there. He has played there for Arsenal, but you're talking about two years ago maybe when he was coming into the team. But he's been solely really been playing right midfield or right attacking, and I don't know. Southgate just shoehorning him in there. He's just a conservative manager in general, I think. So he just plays this his back five or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Just there's a few strange ones. Even I thought he might have gave Ramsdale a go tonight, but he's picked not Nick Pope again. In a nothing game.
yeah.
Ben White wasn't named in the squad, which I thought might have been a bit harsh with because he has Shaw and Maguire playing, and he did say a while ago he picks players on form, but I think it's clear as day he has his favourites and
Yeah,
he just picks them, and I think the likes of Pickford will be back in for the World Cup. Maguire will probably start and Luke Shaw will probably start, despite
be a joke.
what the form, yeah. But I don't know. The England fans aren't happy with him, so as you say, Mark, he probably has to win the World Cup to stay in, keep his job. He's got credit in the bank from the last two tournaments, but I don't know. It's football. It's not very inspiring, to be honest.
Yeah, you look. I mean, if you think Ben White is feeling bad, imagine how Tomori feels. I
Yeah,
mean, Tomori didn't get to kick a ball, and he sent him home today, him and Trent and stuff like that, at a time where there was a serious lack of creativity. I like your point on Ramsdale as well, because Pope, he's been a little bit iffy to say the least, and I'm a big fan of Nick Pope and stuff like that. But you're seeing it even tonight, he got caught with a ball at the back and stuff like that. Just a bit lax, a bit laid back and stuff like that, you know.
Sorry, look at Morris's Southgate is going in the hill.
First of all, he only played there for
Lord.
Arsenal when we are stuck. Southgate is too conservative, and that will cost him. And then he says Southgate is going to die on the hill with Pickford and Maguire. Oh, I don't know. Someone's due a Pizza Hut ad anyway, aren't they? Someone's due a Pizza Hut ad, that's for sure. Let's roll down to some of the others. Switzerland with a big win against Spain. Akanji picking up two, cracking player. And then for Man United, Mark, of course, Portugal 4-0 against the Czech Republic. But the story of the game was really Dallo and Bruno were absolutely outstanding.
I actually felt a bit sorry for Czech Republic because they play some really good football at times against Portugal, but it's just, the kind of, you see Dallo, you see Fernandes, you know the players that are playing in the Premier League week in, week out, compared to, like, I know they have Souček and Koufal and all, but the others aren't playing in the Premier League, so the standard kind of outshone for Portugal. But like I said, Czech Republic play some decent periods of football in the game.
Yeah, I'd say you were the only Man United man on the planet who felt sorry for the Czech Republic. And then we move on to our own game, Scotland 2, Republic of Ireland 1, and we get into talking about Stephen Kenny on this one as well. Obviously, it was a huge win for Scotland, but Ireland definitely had their chances, and we played a real good first half as well. But just dipped in the energy. It's like we blew our load totally in the first half, came out second half, and we had nothing really to offer. Looked a bit tired on our feet and stuff like that, and he was a little bit slow to make the changes and stuff like that when you're seeing lads who had been ran into the ground. Kane, what's your thoughts on Kenny? I mean, he did make the point the other night after the game. He said, look, we haven't been what we should be. We should be a little bit better. We've been a little bit disjointed at times. But he made the point that he's brought 16 new players through into the squad and stuff like that, which is absolutely massive at international level. Morris makes the point, of course, 6 wins out of 25. Get him out. Morris wants him gone anyway. Mason Mount just came on, he said as well. Interesting. How Anthony gets the equal. Oh, it's 2-0 to Germany. Maybe that's your point, Morris. Is it? Kane, what's your thoughts on Kenny?
Yeah, you know, with my Shell's connection, I wouldn't be Kenny's biggest fan. But, you know, I'm actually an Ireland season ticket holder, so I've actually seen every single home game that Kenny has been in charge of. And to be honest, there has been a lot.
Commiserations.
I know. There has been a lot of improvement now, to be fair to him. He has done well with this group of players. You know, he's brought a lot of the younger players that he's worked with in the 21 system, you know, through to the first team. And you can see what he's trying to do. He has a game plan that he's trying to set out. And obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. These players only play with each other, you know, a week or two period every couple of months. So I can see what he's trying to do. It's just going to take time. I think at the minute, you know, it's hard to buy into what he's trying to do when you don't play regularly with each other. But
Kenny gets paid more than Joe Biden. Thank God.
But Biden has a better defence looking after him, though. No, in fairness, I agree with you, Keno. You can see the type of football he's trying to implement, but I think the harsh reality is we don't have the quality of players to play that the way he wants to play it. You know, you look at the squad. There's only a handful that are playing the Premier League. A lot of it is in the Championship, and there's 1 or 2 players playing in League One as well. That's the harsh reality of it. You know,
100%.
Myself, Niall, and Craig. You know, we would have seen the glory days of the 90s and obviously 2002 World Cup. Then, Keno, you would have known the 2012 Euros and stuff like that. Yeah. We just don't have them types of players anymore. There'd be years ago, you'd have the squad full of Premier League players playing for United, Liverpool, Villa, whoever. We just don't have that anymore, and that's what's really kind of sticking out like a sore thumb.
Previous management killed that, didn't they? When you think we could have had Declan Rice and Jack Grealish, but previous management made an absolute bags of that. Just for Morris here as well, and everyone, if you were ever looking for a sackable offence for Gareth Southgate, Kai Havertz has just scored the second goal, and Timo Werner with the assist. So if that isn't a sackable offence, I don't know what is. But I'll just
Kelly be loving that.
There. Absolutely. Let's go. Brazil 3, Ghana 0. That was a friendly.
Who scored that?
Richarlison got 2. I didn't even really want to mention it. That absolute shithouse. I can't stand them. And then the other friendly was Iran 1, Uruguay 0. This was a shock for me. Uruguay had Suarez, Nunes, Palestri, Valverde, and Bentancur all playing. And they dropped should I say they dropped the bomb on Iran? I shouldn't say that. But Iran won 1-0.
Is Carlos Queiroz managing Iran? Is he back managing Iran now?
I haven't got a clue. He's a braver man than me if he is. And Serbia beat Sweden 4-1 with that man Mitrovic as well, as far as I know, with a hat-trick. Absolutely on fire this season. The man who a lot of people thought would not be able to step up in the Premier League is on fire. Morris in the comments again. Morris on fire tonight. Keyboard man. Can anyone answer why he is immune from results and criticism? He's immune from results, Morris, but he's not immune from criticism. He gets a wave of criticism.
And as well, I don't know if you'd agree, Keno, but I think because he's come from the League of Ireland, there's a certain sections of the fans that don't want him to get the sack because we haven't had that for a long, long time, you know. Obviously, Brian Kerr started off at Pats, but worked his way through the youth system and came to manage the senior team. But I just feel because he's come from the League of Ireland, we feel like he's one of our own more so than other managers.
Yeah. I can see that as well because you look at the likes of he's after giving Jack Bourne a chance in the first game of the League of Ireland player. Now the fans are kind of sticking with him because you can see not what we were looking for, but what's kind of needed to change, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Morris, he's not protected. What I would say he is he's cheap. That's what he is compared to most managers. When you think what we paid other managers and stuff like that. Keane, you might be able to answer this. I seen a picture went up on Twitter today. Desi Baker and Brian Kerr. Was it looking back on 20 years or 30 years? I'm not too sure. I think it was 20 years, wasn't it? If I'm right. And I can let you know, lads, now England have just got a goal back. And it's not Mason Mount, but Mark, you'll be glad to hear it's Luke Shaw.
Oh, hey.
Jesus.
Waiting on Luke Shaw to do the business, huh?
So, and I read a stat, now that's their only goal in open play in the last 6 games. The only other team that haven't scored an open play is San Marino.
It's probably Luke Shaw's only goal in open play in about 24 months as well, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, well, since the Euros final, did he score against Italy?
There you go.
Club level, he'd be his last. It'd be his last as well.
Never miss an opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at some of these mid-term reviews, as we call them. Craig, we'll start with you with Arsenal being top of the league. It's a good place to start. How do you feel about Arsenal so far? I think it's 7 games in or 8 games in, whatever it is at this stage. It's all over the place. But and how are you feeling about Arteta and stuff like that?
It's been an excellent start. Probably couldn't have gone any better, to be honest. There was the one defeat against United, which obviously wasn't part of the plan. But 6 wins apart from that. I know they're on paper, they're probably easier games that you probably should win, but that's not always the case. Last year we lost to Palace away, bet them this season. Lost to Brentford away last season, bet them this season. And they bet United 4-0. They scored 5 against Leeds, and they didn't have a sniff against us. So we're quite solid at the back now. We keep the ball. Our squads, it might be a bit small, but it's, like, to be honest, it's a lot stronger than last year. Last year we were going into games with Tavares playing the wing or left back. Cedric was playing. Now we've got Zinchenko, Tierney that can play there. Right full, White's been playing there. Tomiyasu will probably eventually get in there. Our centre halves are strong. Our centre midfield now is, like, without Partey there, maybe. I think we need a replacement long term for him. But in general, look, I can't really complain. It's been a perfect start. Spurs on Saturday now. Get a win. Don't lose that game is important. And then Liverpool after that. They're 2 big tests. But I can't really complain. It's basically perfect start so far.
England, I think, have just equalised, and Gibraltar scored against Georgia, and then it was disallowed because of VAR, as far as I know. Unfortunately, Gibraltar. Morris back in, great stuff, deserved to be top. However, a few injuries, i.e. Ramsdale, Partey and Jesus, and we're in bother. Yeah, I agree with you, Morris. And do you know the thing about it? Apart from City, I would say most of the other teams are in the same boat. Like, if you look at what you rattled off there, if Spurs lost Lloris, I know Lloris is out actually, I think so. The second keeper is going to be in there on Saturday, I think it is. But if they lose Lloris and they lost, say, Kane, and they lost, say, who was good in there, Kulichevsky or something like that, they'd find themselves in similar trouble. They don't have as good a backup either and stuff like that. I think it's similar for them. Morris, please don't tell me Mason Mount is after equalising.
He's on player watch.
It's Mason Mount and Saka with the assist. Oh, Morris. Oh, God, Morris. Timing is everything, isn't it? Ian will be laughing at this when he sees the video and stuff like that. Mark, Man United. Give us an assessment. I think it's 6 games in for you guys, is it?
Yeah, no, obviously we can write the first 2 games off against Brighton and Brentford. Terrible start. Then then we got a big win against Hughes 2-1 on Old Trafford, which really, really built up a lot of confidence. And you could see, listen, even against Brighton and Brentford, you could see the football Ten Hag was trying to get us to play. And I think one of the better things he done was drop Maguire and put Martinez and Varane in as a partnership. And that's what they've looked at, partnership. They don't look like two individuals playing alongside each other like kind of Maguire and Lindelof had before. Then the following week, we have a tough game against Arsenal, and we managed to beat them as well. I know that was a few weeks later. That was just a little bit great. But no, in between those, we 2 tough away games against Southampton and Leicester. We won 1-0, 2 great away victories, 2 clean sheets, and it built the momentum up. Like I said, bet Arsenal 3-1, and yeah, it's for me. Like I said, if we write off the first 2 games, it's been a successful start to the season so far, and Anthony looked on fire. Now, listen, I'll just say I'm not totally slagging Craig because we weren't the better team on the day in that match, but we managed to get the victory over the line, and we took our opportunities on the counter attack. And Bruno, since Bruno got the captain's armband, he's looked a totally different player, and since Ronaldo's been dropped as well, so I can't see Ronaldo starting on Sunday against City. Hopefully, I know Rashford has a knock, so I'm hoping he'll be back as well. So because he looks like a completely different player under Ten Hag as well. It looks like his confidence is back, which we needed. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with the season so far.
Very good, interesting. Man City, Kane. What have we thought of Man City so far? They seem to be unstoppable, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely excellent going forward. Look at Haaland. He's just ran amok since he's came into the league. Unstoppable, to be fair to him. Defensively, they are prone to conceding a couple of goals lately, which I have noticed in their games. They went 2-0 down against Palace. I think they went a goal down against someone else. I'm not quite sure who it was. Was it Villa?
Might be in Villa, I think.
Villa, yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was.
They have got the firepower in attack that can, kind of drag them over the line. But if they get a couple of injuries to their back line, like they're there to be got at. I was saying Stones went off injured today, so there's another injury going into the Manchester derby. But they just look unstoppable going forward. I think it'll be very hard to even come close to them this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Pep's way, isn't it? He's relentless. Like he just, even when they're 3 or 4-0 up, he's ushering them forward, get more and more and more. He's just greedy on the sideline, and it's amazing to see. So that, Craig, just in case you're getting a bit confused, Morrison there in GP Productions, he's a gooner. He's not a Chelsea man at all.
Oh,
he's just obsessed with Mason Mount.
My
boy Mace.
The one thing I will say about City, the one weakness I've noticed, if you can even call it that, is they're not great at defending set pieces like corners or free kicks in their own box or in their own half. That's the only thing. But yeah, listen, they could pick 2 or 3 teams to play it, and they'd win.
That and their training kit designs look like something out of pennies or something like that. They're absolutely atrocious.
They're awful.
Yeah. Well, we'll put that out there. Craig, talk to me about Chelsea. What have you thought of Chelsea so far? It's quite disjointed and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not been a great start, I don't think, for them. To be honest, I don't pay a lot of attention to Chelsea because I don't really respect them as much. But just I think the Aubameyang signing was a bit strange because his last he's what age is he now? 33, 34 nearly. Like if he puts his head in it, he'll score. Like if he has his head right or whatever, he'll score goals. But it's only a matter of time before his off the field stuff or whatever. Like he goes around Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Like he swears at like 21 or something. But his last few months at Arsenal were terrible. Last season he may as well not been there. The same with Lacazette. So I'm surprised at that signing. Then I don't know, the new manager, the new owners seem to have just been going for everyone that they could, all the big names. They got a good few signings in, all right, but it's going to take time for them to gel. What I will say, though, is they have a great manager, potentially a great manager. I think he was a good pick, and he's a likeable guy as well, which Chelsea don't usually have many of them in their club. So, yeah, I still think they'll do well, but they're not going to compete for the title. One horse race, I think, City. So
Yeah, we were on this show. We're big fans of Graham Potter. Well, we were until he signed for Chelsea. No, we're not so much. I know we are. We're big fans of Graham Potter. He's a smashing coach and stuff like that. And but I think it'll take him probably a window or two to put his real shape on the side, really, and stuff like that. Aubameyang, as you mentioned, couldn't be further from a Graham Potter player if you think about it, like in terms of work rate and expectation and what he expects. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Chelsea come back now after the international break and stuff like that. Similar to ourselves, Liverpool, they've struggled at times, and I know, Craig, you had mentioned that with Arsenal they had played a lot of what you might call handy teams and gotten results and stuff like that. Myself and Keane were making the point last time Keane was on that there's no real handy fixtures anymore in the Premier League unless you're Man City. Man City seem to be able to blow teams away handy enough. Morris relentless. Potter could be Watford's next manager.
I see what to see that. Remember I texted you earlier because I come like 10 games into the championship and he gets a sack.
Like, what did you say? 17 managers in 10 years?
Yeah, I think they've had, was it 5 managers in the last 12 months?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I seen lads posting on Twitter today that Watford had just sacked Slaven Bilic, and they said just getting ahead of everyone and stuff like that. It was hilarious and stuff. They probably signed more managers than players, have they?
Yeah, yeah, they have. Rob Edwards was a good manager. Like I love the Championship, League One, League Two, and all. Forest Green got Forest Green promoted from League Two up to League One. He gets a chance to go manage Watford. He takes it. Watford had to pay compensation to Forest Green. He gets 10 games in and he gets a sack. Like, they're 1 point off the playoff zone now. I know it's early doors, but they're only 1 point away from the playoff zone. You're looking, he wasn't given much money in the summer to spend. Yeah, there you go. 1 point off 6th.
1 point off 6th.
Listen, they've won 3, drawn 4, and lost 3. And you're looking at it going, he's getting the sack after 10. Now, it doesn't surprise me because it's Watford, but I just think it's an absolute joke.
Gents, I think England have just taken the lead. It's 3-2.
Mason Mount.
Hardly, is it?
Kane.
Harry Kane with a penalty. Harry Kane with a penalty, 3-2. They'll be all in now. Southgate will be king again tomorrow.
There's a good segue into our next team for the review now,
Fickle fans, we'll have fun on Thursday show now looking at that. Yeah, so that kind of rounds up the kind of the midterm review, really. I mean, Arsenal are on top. They're doing really, really well. But I think the true test for Arsenal is when we probably come back on at the end of October. That's a tough old run for Arsenal. And see how they are then at the end of October and where they sit and stuff like that. But certainly doing all the right things. Craig, Arteta-wise, I mean, what you're thinking? I mean, it's quite a divided fan base at times between Arteta in and Arteta out and stuff like that. Did you watch the documentary at all, the Amazon one?
Yeah, I watched it. Actually, watched it.
Yeah. What was your thinking on that in terms of? I think he for most of it, I would say I think he came across really, really well.
Yeah. No, he did definitely. I think a lot of people after watching that seem to like him. But as far as I know, Arsenal had a big say on what was allowed to be shown on the documentary. So you were never going to get, in my opinion, something that would make Arteta look bad or whatever. So, but no, in general, I'm really happy with Arteta. It's hard not to be now with this great start. But I'd be lying if there wasn't a few times, say last year or the season before, where I wanted him gone. I think there was a run of 10 games without a win. I think 1 win against United in a 10-game run. So he's gone through some really bad spells. But I think the club have backed him. They want him. And he's got his own team now. So he's got the team. Squad's a lot younger. They're playing the way he wants to play. So I think we're getting rewarded now with patience with him. But as you say, there's going to be a big test next month. And we'll see what happens.
Maybe a couple of players in January, just a little bit more strength and pending on opposition. What would be your expectations this year in terms of him securing or keeping his job? Basically, I mean, top 4 would be your minimum expectation, I would imagine, would it?
Yeah, I'd imagine it's top 4, but I wouldn't be surprised if we finish 5th or 6th and they still keep him. Arsenal don't fire managers. I know they fired Emery, but there wasn't they weren't happy with the style of play. But I think they're all in with Arteta. I think he is supposed to be getting, like, they want him to get top 4, but I think he might survive another season if we go far in the Europa League and maybe finish 5th. But we should really be trying to get 4th or win a Europa League.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
just
And I
my
mean, the
opinion.
position you're in now as well, I mean, bar
Yeah.
injuries and stuff like that, if you could stay in around that kind of title race, you know, even if you're within a certain amount of points of City, that would be a huge improvement. Obviously, secure a top 4, and maybe, you never know, maybe a bit of domestic silverware or something, or a good chance on that the Europa League. Right, we spoke about Gareth Southgate. Let's talk about this man, Mark. You'll love this. I put this one in especially for you, even though it's going to show Virgil van Dijk. He came out the other day talking up Timber, who is sensational at the moment for Holland and for his club. And he said that he sees shades of himself in Timber, but Timber at such a young age has such huge potential still to become a huge star. Great words from the captain there, isn't it? Really, of confidence in him and stuff like that.
It is, but then Louis van Gaal's in his other ear telling him not go to United. You know, we were linked obviously with him in the summertime, and he was told if he went to us, he wouldn't get game time in the World Cup. So, but he looks a good prospect. I think he's only 21, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, can play centre half, can play right full. He looks a serious baller, and obviously playing beside that man on the screen there will only benefit him. Learning
Germany
from him as well, you know.
Looks like Germany have just equalised. Just get you an update on that.
Mason Mount OG.
Kai Havertz in the 87th minute. Looks like a cracking game considering 6 goals looking at that first half. I'm sure not only Louis van Gaal is in his ear, Mark, but I'm sure Virgil van Dijk is in his ear as well, saying,
Can't go to Liverpool.
To Liverpool, you know, you don't need to go to United, you know what I mean? So,
well,
it was
listen, I think with Ten Hag there, you know, he's a good lad to get the players in from Ajax now, and I know he came through. I think he's played on every age group for the Dutch international team, and he's come through the Ajax ranks, so he looks a really, really good player for the future. And like I said, he's only 21, so if we got him in now, you'd have him for at least the next 10 years or so.
Yeah, he's a big lad. He's a big lad as well, and he's so athletic as well.
Yeah, he looks like one of those runners. You know, those runners that you see, those American runners and all.
Track and field guy. That's what I was thinking in the States. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, and he kind of looks as if whatever sport he took up, he'd probably be a success at it. You know, that kind of way. He just comes across that way. Rio Ferdinand as well, Mark, was out talking. I'll get all your thoughts on this. He was talking about Harry Kane, and he was he turned around. He was full of praise for Harry Kane. He said he plays in any era and scores in any era. And for me, he says he's the top one of the top 5 strikers in Premier League history. Kane, what's your thoughts on that, Harry Kane?
Yeah, to be fair, I do think he is an exceptional goal scorer. And, you know, you can see his link-up play off the ball is improving as, you know, the seasons are going on. You can see he's dropping a bit deeper, getting the ball. Like, you can see him and Son have that sort of partnership now where if it's not him creating goals for Son, it's Son creating goals for him. But, yeah, his goal scoring record speaks for itself. It's absolutely unbelievable. You know, he didn't break into Spurs' first team till he was, I don't know, what was it, 25 maybe, was it? I think.
Yeah. Didn't he have the loan spell with Leicester, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so he's had to be on loan for like a long time in his career. It's kind of been not a late bloomer, because 25 isn't old, you know what I mean? But yeah, his goal scoring record is unbelievable. It kind of speaks for itself. Can't really say much more about
it. In fairness, I'll say this, and I've said that on this podcast before. Craig is a big fan of Harry Kane.
I wouldn't say that now, mate. Complete opposite now.
He hates him.
Craig. Obviously, you being a Gooner as well. What's your thoughts on him? I mean, he's missed the consistency, isn't he? But a big shout. Top 5 strikers in Premier League history. That's a big shout, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a very big show, considering the players the last 30 years or whatever. Yeah, it's hard for me to speak. Like, I'm clouded. I just don't like the chap. I don't like his antics on the pitch, especially against Arsenal and the likes. But there's no doubt he is a quality player. Man City wanted him. Now, if Guardiola wants him, there has to be obviously something about him. His goal-scoring record does speak for itself. But it's just, there's something I just don't like him. It's just, it's hard to it's just hard to say.
In fairness, Greg, I agree with you. You know, you can't take away from his quality and what he's done in the Premier League. But I just don't like him in general. I don't like his style in what he does, backing into defenders and then claiming for fouls and this, that, and the other. I will say I would have loved to see him back in the 90s play. I know Ferdinand said about any era there. Can you imagine some of the lads from the 90s? Can you imagine a Neil Ruddock getting stuck into him? Or, imagine a Vinnie Jones dropping back from midfield just to break his legs up. He's so satisfying.
That would be all right.
Harsh though, harsh words. I think if you look at him, I think overall, it's a fair assessment to say that he would walk into most top teams' front line, wouldn't he? In terms of his consistency and stuff like that. As much as it kills us to say it and stuff like that, it's undeniable really when you think about the quality of the lad. And he's also been really, really good at times when he's played, similar to the way we would discuss Gerrard and stuff like that. He's played in a couple of poor Spurs sides as well, with changes of manager and various things and stuff like that as well. So, and he still has maintained that consistency in front of goal and stuff like that. So he's for me, he's a phenomenal player. He's certainly walked into our Liverpool front line, certainly at the moment, without a doubt. Wanted to bring on this man as well, Callum Wilson, Newcastle. He was being interviewed the other day and he turned around and he said there's no atmosphere like the atmosphere in St. James's Park. But he said that the only atmosphere that compares to it is Anfield. So he's really gone up in my estimation now.
I like the picture of the full house of Anfield there that you put in as well.
COVID season. that was the Legends game the other day, Mark.
We won't mention that.
Didn't want to bring it up, but Alonso's still world class. I don't care what anyone says, and I take him back in a heartbeat. But it was an interesting comment that he made. But I mean, what you're thinking on that, Mark? Give us your thoughts on that in terms of atmospheres in the Premier League grounds. What are we looking at in terms of who's up there?
I've been to St. James's Park. We were over there, Jesus, must have been about 10, 15 years ago for my cousin Derek stag do, and we said to break the day up on the Saturday we'd go see the Newcastle game. So Newcastle were playing West Ham. Newcastle were 3-0 down at half time. And the crowd were still, getting into it. And they came back and drew the game 3-all. It was one of the better atmospheres I've been at, in fairness. We've been to Old Trafford over the last few years. The atmosphere hadn't been the same as it used to be back in the day. Mind you, like the atmosphere in the Liverpool and the Arsenal games, it looked brilliant in Old Trafford. Obviously, I've never been to Anfield. I've been to Goodison, actually. I've been to Goodison Park a few times.
Miserations.
A friend of my dad, his young lad John Lester, he's well on now, but he played for the Everton under-18s, and we used to go over and watch him and then go to Goodison. But there was always, I like Goodison. It's an old school ground, I like that type of ground. We were over at the Emirates there before, and I wasn't allowed wearing the United jersey. Do you remember that, Craig?
Yeah, I do remember that.
But listen, I haven't been to Anfield, but even as an away fan, it will give you goosebumps here, and you'll never walk along and sang at before the game and stuff like that.
And the stag do that was at St. James's, did you all whip off the tops and you said guaranteed Irish across the bellies and stuff like that? No.
Why, aye, man, go and do bite a groove. Always good crack over there, I have to say.
Yeah, nice one. Let's talk about this, lads. Social media, which is always an interesting hot topic and stuff like that. But I mean, no prizes for guessing the top 3 in this, but there's a few interesting ones in there and a few omittances. But this is your top 10 Instagram football followers.
You can leave me out of this conversation. I'm not on Twitter, Instagram, or anything like that, so you just go ahead.
You are aware of it, though, that it exists.
You
are aware that these guys are probably earning more money off this than what they're earning from football now and stuff like that. But this is in the millions. So, I mean, obviously, the first 4 probably named themselves in whatever order. But Mbappe must have dropped a few followers with all the shithousery that's going on at the moment with international pictures and opting out of team photographs and picking teams and signing players at PSG and stuff like that probably hasn't done him good. But if you look top of the pile, of course, Ronaldo, 477 million followers. I wonder how many messages he answers every day. Unbelievable. And I believe his fee for advertising a product on his Instagram page is ginormous. Absolutely ginormous.
Niall, just for the interest of Morris, is Mason Mount number 11 on that list?
Now Mason Mount is
Okay.
probably maybe 911. I
Okay,
would
right.
imagine
Yeah.
this is massive, but it's massive to see that you get sort of your Ronaldo, Messi 358, and Neymar 177, which is a fair old drop. I mean, even the drop from Ronaldo to Messi is massive, and then the drop to Neymar is massive. It's literally what's it, over 100 million followers between
Even
Ronaldo and Messi.
Rodriguez has 50 million. Like,
Yeah, I'm surprised at that one.
Madness.
Absolutely
Christ.
massive,
Yeah,
massive.
that's
And even
mad, isn't it?
Bale there with 48 as well.
Well,
Zlatan with 52.
even with
Ramos was an interesting one for me at 53. I would have thought Ramos probably would have had more when you look at Marcelo there with 58 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then I suppose if you look at Ramos over the years, he hasn't been the most likable if you're not a Real Madrid fan and stuff like that. Pogba at 55, I was surprised at as well. Again, I suppose if you're not a
that's all
fan
his
of
family.
France, I wouldn't say it's his family at the moment, Mark. If I were you,
Brothers, all them brothers.
I'd say they all unfollowed him. I'd say at this
And
stage.
here it goes, that Gareth Bale, 48 million. Half of them are golf courses following him.
Yeah. A follower's a follower. It doesn't matter if you generate it. Could all those followers go over to our channel now straight away and hit that subscribe button? We'd really appreciate it. We'll play all your pitch and putt courses and all your golf courses, and we'll give you great reviews and stuff like that. And all.
IGB for life.
It'd be interesting to see has Gareth Bale jumped much since he joined Los Angeles. That would be interesting to see because obviously they're very big into their social media over there and stuff like that, and in terms of following and also that would be interesting. Zlatan for me seems a little low at 52 as well, doesn't it, in that list? When you look up at the three boys at top there, and even the drop off with Mbappe. If you look at Mbappe, he's over 100 million below Neymar, and he's 1/5 of Messi, and he's 1/6, 1/7 of Ronaldo. Which is massive. When you think about it, he's probably, the biggest young star in football at the moment on the planet, in terms of every kind of facet of the game and stuff like that. So it's amazing to see how much the drop off is. But the top three guys there, at least, I'd say they're all coining it in. But I'd say the top three guys there are really coining it in at the moment.
Not one goalkeeper amongst that goes.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't have thought. And what have we got? We've only got what have we got? One Marcelo's in there, and Ramos, one defender maybe, and a wing back. And Marcelo is interesting. I mean, Marcelo doesn't even play that much now. Sure, he doesn't.
He's over Olympiacos now.
Olympiacos, did you see his unveiling?
Yeah,
they had like 50,000 in the stadium for his unveiling.
Yeah, I seen one of the games pre-season or something like that, and he looked proper thick as well, in terms of his size. He had put on a bit of size, let's say, during the off season. But yeah, Ramos in there as the only defender. Am I right? Only defender.
Yeah.
Ramos. Yeah, interesting. He's the only defender in there that makes the top 10 list. But it just goes to show the power of social media and the influence that these players carry. And in terms of the rewards of it and stuff like that, I think I read somewhere. Did I read somewhere that Ronaldo to post a product on his page is like 200 grand? Something like that. Now, don't quote me on it, but something like that. It's something crazy. When I looked at it, I said, so what would you be playing football for when you can just post 2 products a week and coin in $500,000 or whatever it is, But I thought it'd be an interesting thing to look at as part of the show. So yeah, very, very interesting. I'll just get you an update on the Nations League while I'm here as well, because we should probably have full times at this stage. England and Germany finished 3-3. Italy won 2-0 against Hungary, so I think that puts them top of the group.
Yeah.
Finland won 2-0 against Montenegro. I seen Timo Pukki picked up an assist in that game. Romania won 4-1 against Bosnia. Gibraltar got their goal in the end, 2-1. Georgia beat them. Bulgaria beat Macedonia 1-0. And San Marino lost 4-0 to Estonia. And Rovers at the moment are 1-0 up. It's in the 88th minute. So that's a roundup of your football for the night.
Just checking. When are the under 21s playing? Tomorrow night or is it tonight?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Israel away, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you see actually what Israel have done?
No.
Israel's obviously their Nations League, campaign is over, so they had like 5 or 6 under 21 players eligible in their first squad, like their first team
No
squad,
way.
and they've
So,
dropped them all down now to the under 21 squad for the second leg.
are you serious?
So the likes of man Abada or Celtic and stuff,
Yeah, they're going to be playing.
they've all dropped down now to the 21 squad.
Very,
That's
very,
mad,
very, very, very clever. We'd be doing it the other way. We'd be pulling lads up from the 21s into the senior squad.
So we got Aaron Connolly was playing for them last week, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Terrible years.
He was playing for them last week, wasn't he?
I was saying that your man Ferguson is out injured now for the
Evan, is he? Oh,
yeah.
no way, man. He's quality, man. Only 17. He's with Brighton, isn't he?
Yeah.
Came from Bowes.
Let's round up the show then with a few predictions. Then let's talk about Ireland versus Armenia, lads. Give us your scores.
Go on, Craig. I'll go 1-0 Ireland.
Craig.
2-0 Ireland.
2-0.
Yeah, I think 2-0 as well. 2-0 Ireland.
I'm going to go 2-1 because we always make it difficult, don't we? We always make it difficult. It's 2-1. It's kind of a squeaky one. And before we finish off, Craig, North London Derby, give us a prediction.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. I just think we'll just have to watch the counter-attack. But I think we'll dominate the game, dominate the ball. So just hopefully 1-0. Just don't lose the game. That's all I ask for.
Good shout. Mark, Manchester Derby.
We've actually done all right in the Etihad over the last few seasons, but I'm going for
no Solskjaer though anymore now. So
no Solskjaer. I would be wary of this new young lad Haaland. I don't know much about him, but we have to be wary of him on Sunday. But I'm going for a score draw. I reckon either 1-1 or 2-1.
It's times like that you need Roy Keane in the team, isn't he? He takes care of those Haaland boys fairly good, doesn't he? Normally.
Big time.
Kane, Liverpool, Brighton. I was at the game last season. It killed me.
I think it's the right time to get Brighton. They're kind of in a transition period now with the new manager coming in.
Careful now, Kane. Steady now, steady. What do you reckon?
I'm trying to take my boys cap off here, but I can't see a Liverpool win. I think 2-0.
I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. Darwin Núñez with 2, Mo Salah with 1, and Trossard with 1. Yeah, absolutely. He has to. Come on, he has to do something, doesn't he? It's about time he kicked on.
He might have a shot on target, maybe.
In the warm-up.
He doesn't normally get them on target in the warm-up, Mark. That's the problem.
I've seen that one.
Absolutely, yeah. Ball is still hovering around the globe at the moment.
In fairness, it was very windy that day.
It was, yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, lads, it's been a pleasure having you on. As always, I'd say to everyone in the comments and everyone viewing, hit a like on the video on the way out and support the channel. As always, if you could subscribe and hit that bell notification. We will be back on Thursday. We'll have a full Premier League preview, including some of those great derbies that are coming up. We'll also have Beat the Bookie, where we drop our picks for the weekend. It's about time we won a few quid, because I've lost my shirt on international football, and I'm planning on never betting on international football again. It's shocking.
The championship is back as well, cuz.
Until next one. Oh yeah, championship is back as well, so no doubt we'll have Marky's bets for the championship, the sole rider of bets for the championship. As always, lads, a pleasure having you on. Thanks to Mark, our resident referee. Craig, who made his debut. Great having you on, Craig. You're welcome anytime. Give us a shout.
Cheers, it was great to be on.
Marky. Kane's back his second time on. Hope to see more of you, Kane, as you help me get through this horrible season so far. It's like a therapy session when we talk about Liverpool.
The only way is up.
Oh, absolutely. Until next time, lads, an absolute pleasure. Cheers.
Cheers, lads.
Thank you.